kind of like what I wanted to dive into as well, because Claude, although it's built for engineers and technical capabilities, I think we get into a stage where anybody can use the damn thing.
Well, did you watch that interview with the CEO that I sent you?
I did watch it, man. And I'm starting to gain some more respect for the Anthropic CEO, right? Like he's really trying to approach this from an ethical standpoint and not just a.
Welcome to Fire Talks by Tech Wing Bites. I'm Clint. I've built software, led teams, and now a founder, helping builders who are ready to make the leap, but can't quite see the path yet. Every episode is one conversation closer to clarity on ownership, execution, and momentum.
I can't see y'all if y'all camera is on.
Oh yeah, I can't do the camera today.
All right, so it's just a Clint show today. That's cool. All right, so we can begin. I sent out a topic about Claude. That's what I wanted to talk about. And then this week I was really getting into playing around with some app ideas. It's my mouse over here. And I wouldn't mind talking about that as well, like what I learned and what I'm thinking, but also what do you guys want to talk about?
Oh man, it's up to you.
Well, I sent you something. I guess I tagged you or sent it to you in Instagram, but I did see someone talking about Claude and I guess the new feature of how it integrates with all these. It's supposed to integrate with inside the app or with inside the system to the commonly used applications, and so I sent that to you earlier. That was something that I thought was really intriguing, and even want to learn about it because it's just like, shoot, if it can actually integrate with so many different apps, I may be like David and use Claude as my primary instead of ChatGPT.
Well, yeah, so that's kind of like what I wanted to dive into as well, because Claude, although it's built for engineers and technical capabilities, I think we get into a stage where anybody can use the damn thing. Well,
did you watch that interview with the CEO that I sent you?
I did watch it, man. And I'm starting to gain some more respect for the Anthropic CEO, right? Like he's really trying to approach this from an ethical standpoint and not just a race. It's like, hey, let me build something that can help people to continue to build versus just to win the AI race, whatever that is.
Yeah, right. And he acknowledges that. It's like, whatever this is. So one of the key things for me in that talk goes back to something that I'm going to say your name wrong. I'm sorry. Hassan? Is that, did I get it right? Okay, good. Said they're building it for enterprise or business users, whereas the other companies, namely ChatGPT or OpenAI, because everybody basically is built just on top of their platform, is building it for end users, right? So their stuff is all centered around like how do you do productivity around things that you're doing for that 8 to 10 hours a day that you're working.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's a great thing. Like I mentioned last chat that we had. I don't think it's a bet. Like if I'm ChatGPT, I stay in the lane of looking at the end users and allow, rather than trying to jump in every lane, right? We've seen throughout history that people who don't really niche and brand themselves as a particular thing, and they just all over the place, they kind of phase out because they didn't pick a lane. And so I don't think that's a bad thing for, ChatGPT to be more end user friendly, whereas Claude is really looking at the and focusing on the everyday, or not the professional and enterprise products.
From a perspective of getting stuff done that's efficient and what that class of people wants, yes. from the perspective of having a business that actually works and functions, it's a very bad thing because there's only one of those that will actually pay you.
Right. I mean, but non-technical people using Claude Code is using it mostly for productivity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Automations and whatnot. Right. And the fact that someone who has never seen any type of code before can just start vibe coding instantly and boom, they got an app. Like,
well,
not.
So only
And see-
it's in the
go ahead,
it's in the single digit percentages of people that use Claude Code of the total Anthropic users. That was all I was going to say. Go ahead.
Well, no, because my thing is, and Clint, we've talked about this before. That's where, for me, that's where you'll always get a rebuttal. For me, me personally, I'm not going to use AI for something I don't know. Right. And if I've never seen code before or really know, like, I'm not using it for that because of the fact that I think AI has so many great features, but it also has the bad ones where, you know, it spits something out or it gives you an answer, especially if you don't know. That sounds really good, but it's really wrong. Right. And so I am of the mindset that if you're going to use AI, use it for things that you have knowledge on, not things that you do not.
I challenge that. You know, there's two sides of this whole AI thing, right? There's the prompting side, and then there's the prompting to build something side, right? And if we just prompt in for conversations, ideation, you know, validation of thought, then okay, you are focused mostly on grants readiness. That's something you know, so you're diving into that conversation and makes sense. But if you say, you know, to get people ready, I need to make sure they hit these 13-point checklists, right? And what if I can create a little mini app just by talking into AI to say, create this mini app on my machine to help my productivity? Building the app is not your expertise, but working the checklist is. Why wouldn't you want to use Claude or any type of system for that?
And I guess let me put it this way. There are specific systems that are built to help with particular things, especially even things that you don't know, and that's fine. I guess what I'm looking at is more so the chat bots, right? When you're like when we talked about specifically about building code and they've never seen code before. To me, that starts to get a little dangerous, and even to me, I'd even say inefficient, because you don't know what's wrong, you don't know where it's wrong, you don't know if that. I mean, you know, it's just so much you don't know.
So
go ahead.
Well, I think that both of you are right.
Yeah.
Okay? I think that Hassan's right that you can't trust implicitly what comes out.
Agreed. We agree.
I mean, you started doing a lot of stuff with Claude Code recently, right? And that's our area, Hassan. So just forgive me for using this as the whipping boy for the example, but it applies generally across all AI.
Agreed.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Okay. What? I think I have a muting problem. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So the where's my thought? All right. So yes. So generally you can't trust what's coming out of it. So as you're building your software, Clint, like you get a bunch of stuff back. You're prompting and saying, hey, how are you going to build this thing? And it comes back with a plan about how it's going to build it. And you look at it and it's like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Hassan's getting at. But another way that I use it, I know software development inside and out.
Right.
I know business development inside and out. I can use it to do those things and to make me more productive to do those things on my own.
Right.
But there's other areas where I'm not the domain expert. One of the areas I've used it a lot for is legal research. Okay.
Right.
But what I do, I go and do the research, and then I go and hand it to an attorney and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then they go through and they do that. Well, yeah, maybe not this section right here. Maybe not this one, right? And they do that for me. But I got them 90% of the way there. Okay. So just because I'm not the expert doesn't mean I can't go and use it. But I'm just not going to implicitly trust anything if I'm not the expert either. I'm going to go and find the expert, and I'm going to get them to review it for me.
No, and I think that's 100% correct, right? Like, because that's what I would do. Like, I mean, now I've, unlike most, like, I guess I'm not considered non-tech because I've actually seen code and coded before, you know, but not enough to be even dangerous with it. But I guess my biggest thing is where you did is you actually took something you didn't know and then went and verified it, right? I'm really more talking about how, because most people are lazy, bro. They're not going to do what you just did. You know,
Right.
it sounds good. Hey, let's go.
Sounds good. Let's go. Yeah.
And so they'll go so far as to actually package it and sell it to people, not even sure that it's 100% accurate.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's also just part of doing business. Like, nothing's ever going to be 100%, right? Like,
right.
We actually build out entire matrices of what is shippable in the software world. We know that it has bugs in it, but
right, yeah, because like I remember we were talking, like, and I told Clint about this. Is I had you know, I was wanted to put together a blog that talked about the differences between for-profit and non-profit grants. And
okay.
So, you know, I gave ChatGPT the information and said, you know, this is what I need you to do. And it spit out this beautiful piece of work, but it flipped it. What it was supposed to say about the nonprofits, it said about the for-profits, and what it was supposed to say about the for-profits, it said about the nonprofit. But it was extremely articulate. Like I mean, it hit what I would probably say in a conversation and then some. But like, it was totally backwards. And that's when it was at that point that I realized, wow, this could actually be dangerous if you don't really know what you're actually talking about, or like to your point. Have a source to actually vet this against.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and here's another one for you. So you use ChatGPT for that, right? And ChatGPT is known for writing extremely well. Like, it presents itself as being incredibly articulate. What ChatGPT is not known for is doing good, deep, valid research on topics. Claude is, Anthropic is, or specifically Claude AI is. So sometimes when you're running stuff like that, you want to write a blog article. Maybe the place to go to do the research and make sure you got all the facts lined up and everything else done, and get the baseline, get that outline of that blog entry done. Maybe you go do that in Claude, and then you take that and you go feed it into OpenAI and say, hey, make this sound amazing. Because these different models are good at different things as well. And actually, I run into that all the time. And it's actually something that I told you we would talk about later in the week, Clint, is using Claude AI for doing research and really putting together a product plan, but then going and feeding it into Claude Code, because it is built on an entirely different model. And saying, go and validate this one. Where are the holes?
Absolutely. And I recently did that with I used Gemini to do the deep search. I used ChatGPT for the project plan, and then I submitted that into Claude AI just for validation before I put the plan, the technical plan, in Claude Code. So definitely using the different models for the different things, I think, is key. I think that you have there's an assumption that if I'm using the AI to write code, that I will see code. In my recent experience, right? Like, so there's two ways. There's the copy and paste, because like you, David, I know code, right? So I want to see the code. I want to see if it's right. I want to see if it's building some really good stuff. So, you know, I went down the copy paste option, right? Where I'm like, okay, do this, and it gives it back to me, and it writes the code, and I watch the code, I copy it, I paste it, I run it. I'm like, all right, that's good. Boom. And then I did another version where I actually did not see the code. Yes, Claude Code was showing the diffs and between its changes or whatnot, but all I saw was my input, which is the vibe coding part, and my output. Right. So if I'm looking at a non-technical person saying, hey, I'm building a tool, agent, whatever they want to call it, to help me do my work, yeah, it's creating code, whatever type of code. I just heard of a story where some guy wrote a whole thing by just vibe coding, to talking to the AI. It was built on Rust, a language that he doesn't even know, but it works, right? So it's almost saying that, hey, anybody can actually create an app without even seeing the code itself, just the output. And if you know anything from a end user perspective, like how it should work, how it should work when it comes to error handling and maybe some cybersecurity, like basic end user stuff, you can build an app, right? And if you're unsure and you say, hey, I want to build a very secure app, because most people today, I think this is something I read, most small businesses or anyone, they're failing to adopt AI because they don't understand the cybersecurity behind it. Like, this is my intellectual property. Is it safe? And they're not getting a direct answer. So then most small businesses are like, well, I don't want to mess with it. If you don't understand it, I don't want to do it either. Right. So there's options for that. But at the same time, I don't think it's necessary just because it has code at the end of it that you will actually see code, but you can still produce something. Like, I like you said, David, use one model for the plan and ask it to check cybersecurity and safety and all that, and then pop that in Claude Code or whatever. I heard there's VS Code has a build agent now. You can pop it in there. There was another one. What is Gemini one called? Are you familiar with that, David?
No.
Yeah, there's a Claude Code version in Gemini. I forgot. I heard it the other day, but I can't remember the details. But that's the point. Anybody can do it now.
They can, but that goes back to Hassan's point about Slop. I'm gonna give you a terrible example. I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. So I've been building this platform for the last 3 months.
Right.
I'm getting pretty close to launching it. I started going through all the CI/CD pipeline and everything to get this thing and getting into a staging environment. One of the things I had never done was run this code through a linter. I have been delinting code for 3 days, Clint.
Hassan, just for context, linter is pretty much something that checks the code to make sure it's following the right syntax and security and stuff or whatnot.
And making sure that you don't have unused variables or dangling variables and all sorts of other fun things. Like there was over 3,000 unused variables that I just missed.
All right, that's painful.
Yeah. But that's a massive. I mean, and if you're not a technical person, you're not going to know to look for that or what the security risk of that is and all that stuff. And
great point.
Claude Code, I mean, 95% of this code is written by Claude Code.
Right.
Well, and Clint, I really appreciate you trying to help me to understand what y'all are still waiting. But continue.
You were breaking up really, really bad. I really didn't catch what you said. I think you said thank you for defining linting. I assume.
Yes. Thank you for defining it. But yeah, y'all are still way over my head.
Well, I mean, the point is, it missed something massive that most people wouldn't know.
Right.
And so, yes, you can produce the application, but you still need that expert out there, or else you're going to throw out a pile of garbage that sounds great that's completely backwards, like your blog article.
Yeah, I agree. My experience recently was, I asked it to build the app. It built the app. I was really excited, but when it came down to certain things that I just would expect in an app, Claude didn't do it. I had to tell it to do it. Like, make sure you put validation. I don't want to use alerts. Who use alerts anymore? Just do me an inline error. What are we doing? That's just like standard stuff. But not to say that Claude Code is bad. It's just saying that you have to give it the right instructions for the experience that you're aiming for, right? And having some sort of background and experience in that area definitely helps what you're building going forward.
I have to break stuff down into scopes still, because it just gets to be too much. Right? I have to run it like a old school software project. I'm effectively the product owner and the project manager rolled into one.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think that works. And if you go down to the technical layer, I'll also say it's important to do separation of our concerns, right? Like I'm trying to create an app for everything. Okay, I want a Python script for this and a Python script for that, and then we can connect it so I can plug and play accordingly. That seemed a little bit more manageable for me than saying, hey, just build it, because it just throws everything in one big file. It breaks up some stuff, but I think you have to tell it to organize. Otherwise, it's just going to give you, I guess you guys right, slop.
You're building an orchestrator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Hassan, I'll pause for a second. I know we're kind of getting in the technical coding side, but what questions do you have for clarity?
I don't think I can actually ask what you guys can tell me to clear what y'all just finished talking about up to me, but keep going.
Well, I think that segueing this into that topic about the Claude workspaces is perfect, because it takes these processes that we've been talking about, and you can automate them.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah. So like you want to go through and you want to do, okay, I need to go through and do research on this particular thing that I want to put out, right? This widget that I want to build. The first thing I need to do is I need to go do a viability study on it. Then I need to go and figure out like what are the best materials to build this thing out of. Right. Then I need to go through and I need to build a proof of concept or a white paper on it, right? And you can take that in the workspaces, and you can say and turn it into a process and have it run through it. And you can do it for really simple things too, right? Like, okay, I need to write. I need to check my emails. I need to summarize stuff to go to my boss that is coming into me. All that stuff. You can connect it into your email and have it, looking for certain things and building that summary for you and presenting it to you by 11 a.m. when you need to send it to your boss at 11:30, for instance, right? Those types of things. And so that's where the Claude workspaces are, just for the individual person and for software developers, for everybody. I mean, frankly, I think that they won, and the things that they had to build over the last 6 to 12 months to make that feasible. It's very obvious that this was their end goal, but they've been putting those pieces in place and handing them to us. Like the skills that came out about 3 or 4 months ago, that was one of the linchpins of making this actually function.
Wow, it's pretty powerful, man. The amount of things that you can do. One of the things that I wanted to call out, since I was getting back into building, is the difference between what people is calling agents and pure automation, right? I think a lot of solutions seems to be 70-80% of just automations. And the AI piece is supposed to handle the nuances, but a lot of people who saying, hey, they create an AI agent, it's pretty much an AI. It's pretty much an automation that existed or could have existed 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
But they're calling it AI, and I was like, what? I was explaining to someone today the difference between a daemon that runs in the background. So in software, Hassan, usually in the background of your computer, while your computer's on, you can see the application that's running, and those applications you're seeing is pretty much a GUI, right? But then there's applications running that you don't see in the background. Those are typically called agents, or a daemon if you want to get technical. But now with today's new terminology, AI agent is taking on a whole different definition. But when it gets close to, hey, this AI agent can run in the background, then it kind of messes with that definition. And I guess maybe for someone like me who kind of seen little bits and pieces, I'm like, why y'all mixing words here? Why are you trying to make things sound a bit better than it is? Is it just me? Are you guys seeing this?
No, yeah, absolutely.
So like, where do you draw the line between what is actually AI versus what is algorithmic automated solution.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the ones that people like to use ChatGPT for a lot in a business setting is writing emails for them, and so they give it a voice that they want all their emails written in, and the recipients of those find them incredibly annoying.
Right.
Whereas the person who built it thinks that they're super clever. I think that you run into a lot of that as well. People overusing it just all over the place, and misusing it or mislabeling it.
Right.
What it is. And that's just the growth of a new thing.
I think we kind of live in a time where everybody believes everything is part of the algorithm or AI, right? And so like I think I explained to Clint one time that when I send out information, sometimes I will purposely put a typo or a mistake in there just to humanize the actual what's actually going out, because a lot of times it's it kind of lets them know that this is actually a person who sent this out, not AI. Now, could I take AI and do that? Yes, but for the most part, I mean, people believe most of the stuff that comes out now is coming from the algorithm, some type of algorithm or AI.
I mean, do you think that still works though? Like just because they see my typo, misspelling, or whatever, they're like, "Oh, this from a real person."
I mean, of course, we have to go. We typically, like, it works for me. Let me say that, right? And that's really my only way to kind of vet if that is actually it, because sometimes when it's too perfect, I know that it's AI, and even just somehow because I use it so much, but I actually use AI a lot on making sure that my grammar is on point. And then because I one of the prompts it'll get from me very often is change as little of the original text as possible, but make sure that it flows and that it's grammatically correct.
Yeah, that's what I use it for when I'm writing. What were you saying, David?
I'd say it wouldn't work on me because I would never catch the spelling mistake. I can't.
Wait a minute, that's not true. That's not true, David, because you read my book and you caught a bunch of stuff. It's true.
Though none of it was spelling stuff, though.
Well, yeah, true. It was insights.
Don't ask. Yeah, I'm
talking about typos, not spelling. So basically, saying the or putting spelling, because I'm not going to catch spelling. All right, as long as I can sound it out, I'm good.
Right.
But when I'm talking about typos, that having double words there or leaving a word out.
Got it. Yeah. But that's actually, that might actually be a really good use case for the Claude Workspaces, is actually having something sitting there for checking your emails on for grammar with the pre-built context of not changing as little as possible and just checking for grammar and whatnot. Interesting. That would actually be useful for me, because I am absolutely terrible, especially when I am in modes like I am right now, where I have so very little time to get things done. Like if I'm writing an email, it's getting one pass over from me, and then I'm clicking the send button. Sometimes does not work out well.
Hey, what's up? I'm Clint. Thank you for hanging out with me on this one. If you're listening or watching this cut, the full episode is on techwingman.substack.com. Go subscribe. It's worth it. And if you're already a paid member, you're good. Keep watching. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I actually read that stuff. All right, back to the episode. Hey, one more thing. I know I don't always talk directly to who's watching and listening. I'm still figuring out this podcast thing. Bear with me as I build. I appreciate you being here, though, and staying with me this far. Thanks again. Now back to the episode.
Well, that makes me want to ask a question, David. You got into Claude earlier than I did. I was playing with some other tools, but I'm curious about its capabilities, because I got into it messing around, and I'm in the AI, the AI, and I'm asking it to do X, Y, and Z, and it's doing it, and I'm like, hey, I'm seeing the files created, and I'm all excited. But then there was this button over here that said "CLI," and I clicked on it, and then it was like I had to go through a whole like onboarding process to use the CLI. But I was like, but I was already using this, which was different from the Claude AI itself. So what I'm asking is, when I saw those differentiation, I'm saying, hey, what can Claude Code actually do? Like, yes, automation, control your computer, log into APIs and check your email. Is these all possible?
Yes. Yeah. So you know, I don't use the desktop one very often. Let me take a look at it like fast and see, because you're using the desktop one, right?
I am using the desktop, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's right there. So if you go down to your name and icon down at the bottom left, you go into settings. You following me so far?
Yeah.
Okay, then go to extensions. No,
Okay.
not extensions. It's not extensions. Hold on, connectors. That's what we want. We want connectors.
Oh, Google, Gmail, all right, GitHub.
HubSpot, Atlassian, like there's, if you click browse connectors, there's
Connected.
hundreds.
Does any of this make sense to you, Hassan? Wow, this is amazing.
Just I understand what you guys are saying, but I will say this, that it's like I said, it's a little bit more techie than I'm used to talking. So it's I understand it, but of course, all like everything that you guys are talking about is fairly new to me.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is we're talking about taking Claude and connecting it to your different services you use. So like your Gmail, okay, or think of some other, you know, resource that you use on a daily basis, and saying, okay, I'm gonna allow Claude to have access to this, and then it's going to be able to use that as a surface for information. So you can then go into Claude if you have it connected to your Gmail and just be like, hey, go and summarize or give me a timeline of all the emails from David, or give me a timeline of all the emails from Hassan, if you're doing legal stuff, or build me a reply to X email, or anytime you see an email that comes in from this person, if you wanted to use the Cowork stuff, it's like anytime you see an email coming from this person, I want you to pre-build me a response to it and have it waiting for me to review.
Gotcha. So now, can't Gemini do that now?
Gemini doesn't live on your, well, actually it lives on your browser, so maybe it could do now, because let me share my screen.
Or will this be more so of a preference? Like if you prefer to use Gemini as opposed, or Claude as opposed to Gemini? Because I will tell you, Gemini gets on my nerves. I'm like, sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's just like, bro, I need to get this off my computer.
Well, I think David is more talking about how you can use, and I'm just going to use automation as a base. How you can use Claude in this case to automate things on your computer and in the cloud, right? Okay. So if you have something on your computer itself, so say a photo, and every time a photo drops in this folder, you want to use Claude to go pick it up and copy it. That's one thing. But then you want Claude to pick it up, copy it, and then send an email. But send the email through Gmail. And that's the connector part.
Gotcha.
My computer is kind of slow, so I'm going to try to share this.
And so if you have multiple email accounts, like we do, right? How we use Google Workspace, and then I have my personal, you can actually tell it which one to utilize. As long as you give it access to it, it should be able to go to, if this person sends it, then you go to this particular account. If this person sends it, you go to this account.
Yes. Right.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You should see Claude on the right, and then some blue stuff on Claude on the left, and some blue stuff on the right. Do you see that?
Yep.
So this is what David was talking about, the connectors. So this big gray part on my left, that's Claude code. You can see code in the top left right here. And these connectors is how we can connect our Gmail. Once this is connected, I can tell Claude code connect to my Gmail and send the email to Hassan.
Yeah.
And then what he was saying here is browse connectors. Here's all the different tools that you can connect it with, right? Some of them you're probably familiar with. I saw Asana in here earlier.
Yeah.
Atlassian, that's a big project management tool. Bitly, shorten your Canva. Everybody uses Canva for social media stuff. So
we call it Canva, but
what did I say?
I'm messing with you, but you said Canva.
Yeah. You know, a lot of these things people pronounce them differently. He was saying demon earlier too, and I've always called them daemons, but it happens, right? Is it Ubuntu or Ubuntu? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so you can take all those connectors. And so here's one I think that'll resonate with both of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so Canva's in there, right? And you want a picture anytime it drops into this folder. What if you said, okay, anytime that one of my people takes a picture and it drops into the Google Photos space for my company, I want you to take that. I want you to go and pull it over into Canva, and I want you to see if you can't build me an Instagram marketing piece out of this, okay? And by 11 a.m. every day, I want 5 potential marketing pieces for putting out on Instagram.
That's nice. I like that. So I guess that's kind of like what Gemini does on steroids, basically. And Gemini is really only subject to Gmail, correct? Like I couldn't have, like if I had like let's say I used I don't know, Yahoo, or my wife still uses Hotmail. It wouldn't be able to use Gemini, whereas Claude would be able to go into all of those, correct?
Well, I think yes and no. I think the no part is clear. It's different platforms. It won't work, and especially if you're just using the chatbot, right? But ChatGPT and Gemini both have separate sections. One, ChatGPT calls them GPTs, and Gemini calls it gems. And you can create a gem, which is pretty much a workflow. And with those workflows, you can actually connect external services. Would Gemini connect to Outlook? Their competitors? Probably not. But can they connect to Atlassian or some of these other public tools? Yes. And I'll say this the same for OpenAI GPTs. Like I have a bunch of GPTs that I created when it first came out, and that's what I've been messing with. And then you can connect GPT to GPT and gem to gem, and these gems to external tools. But all of that lives in the cloud, right? Whereas Claude lives on your developer machine, that you can create an app and then deploy that app to kind of do its thing the same way.
Well,
if I understand.
Does that make it more secure?
Not really.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the whole thing it's all getting pushed up. So the installed application, Clint, gives it access to some things in your local file system. It doesn't give it explicit. Like I was actually a little bit disappointed about its limitations there to some extent. But you can go into Claude.ai. And it's the exact same. The installed version and the online version are the exact same model. And if you connect something on, or you do a connector on the desktop one, the connector is already there on the AI, the online version as well, right? So that they're basically the same, right?
So can I code from my phone? Is what you're saying?
It has to have access to the repos. I mean, if you pulled it down onto your phone, maybe. I don't know. I haven't tried that. But yeah, I don't know if the Claude code options. I don't use Claude on my phone very often. I don't use my phone very often. Period.
Yeah,
but
I know why.
Yeah. In any case, we'll move past that one. Yeah, so I mean, so the example of the way that I use this stuff, and they call this the surfaces, right? So you're building up your surface of its different contexts that it has. I've already told you that I go through and I build all of my scopes out in the Claude AI, right? I do all my research there and everything else. I then use that, and once I'm happy with it, I push it into Confluence and I push it into Jira. So I get to build all the Jira stories and I get to build the initial Confluence docs. And so I actually, when I go to start writing code, I don't feed it the Claude code a big specification. I go and say, hey, go look at this Confluence docs and then look at all these Jira stories that are in the active spread. Now start churning through it, and that helps it keep itself focused. And as it compacts and everything else, it still has that context. Oh, I'm supposed to be marking the Jira stories and doing the updates and everything else. It also gives me a good history of what's been done over time. But I build up this workflow through those connected applications, and I built myself a local orchestrator for having Claude code. I don't actually use Claude code in the desktop thing. I actually use it in the console itself. So I have my own local orchestrator that has API credentials into those services.
Nice. So Hassan, are you familiar with Jira at all?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So we use Notion, and by the way, David, I use Notion for that same thing.
Yep.
But it's like Notion, but it's more opinionated. It says this is the way to do project management. So feed your stuff into your task/stories, and then you can get work done. It's typically for enterprise teams, but just to give you good clarity.
Yeah,
Makes
just
sense?
I'm familiar with. Yeah.
Okay. This is good. This is good. We got to dive into code. Claude a bit. Claude Cowork came out, which is one of the things I wanted to talk about. And what I understood about it, I can't run it right now because my Mac is too old. But I have one coming on the way, so I'm excited to try it. What Claude Cowork is you don't have to use all that command line technical stuff or even see code. They actually give you more of a WYSIWYG, a drag and drop, point and click interface, and you can still build stuff. Is what I've seen from the video. So I'm kind of excited to try it. And from everything that I've seen, it's pretty powerful. And I think they're building it for non-technical users, where people is using it for organize their grocery lists or their side projects and things of the sort to create these automation/AI tools to do things. Did you guys get a moment to check out the video I sent?
I have not.
Son, did you?
No, I didn't either.
You should check it out after, so you get an idea of what this thing could do. I think that's a game changer, because one thing we'll start to see is the other people that's running the race, OpenAI and Perplexity and Gemini, kind of come out with their own versions as well. And I think that's extremely powerful. So look out for that, since you guys haven't look at it yet. I had two tools that I learned this week. I haven't dove into it. They just seem cool. I wanted to share with you guys. They're of a technical nature, but it's kind of applies to the topic that we've been talking about. And David, if you have any, I know you always run into tools too. So if you have any tools you want to share, let me know as well. All right. So this first one, I don't know if you heard of it, RunPod. Now this kind of goes back to the conversation we were having in the last session. So about AI chips. This is an infrastructure platform that allows you to train your own models. So there's local models, but if you do a local model on your machine, which is pretty much AI on your machine, you can use it. It's not connected to the internet, but that's probably not a smart machine because a smart model, because well, it's running on your machine. And these machines, these ChatGPTs and Gemini, they take a lot of resources. And this company is offering a secure way, because if you can see my screen here, SOC 2. We're officially SOC 2 compliant. That means they're secure in following the procedures as far as managing data. It's like HIPAA, but for tech, right? And they're allowing people to pretty much train models on their own IP data for obviously security purposes. Have you guys heard of it? RunPod or anything similar to it?
So I'm looking it up right now.
I don't know. It says AI infrastructure developer trust. I'm like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work. I looked up what it takes to even train a model. Like, it's intense and it costs a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So they're doing it.
What's a lot?
Look, I'm showing you the prices here. So in order to train a model, it's gonna go through like cycles, hundreds and thousands of cycles, and that's the cost per hour. You see on the screen there, right? And that's based on the GPU is the chip that's actually running it. So
Can you give me like a real world scenario on how long something would possibly take so that I can kind of.
yeah, so take a school like a high school. There's information in a high school that we don't want to be public, specifically the students' information or whatnot. But the whole point of looking at the student data is because you want to see if what is being taught is learning. You want to look at grades, you want to analyze the data, blah 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 blah. Taking that data and putting it in the public models, some schools would say no. So instead, the school, if they have the money, would then get a model, probably a base model, let's say a GPT model, and then they'll want to train it, or maybe DeepSeek, because DeepSeek gives a little bit more options for that. And then they would train it on that data so that the teachers and the students can go into a chat area that's not online, but specifically to the school and get specific information. What's my grade? How did I do? How can I do better? And other things like that. But in order to train the model on that school data, it has to be trained on a machine. RunPod is saying, hey, you can use our machines and you can train it at this cost. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it does.
So they're interesting. So they don't own their infrastructure. So if you're familiar with like CoreWeave,
Cool.
you know who that okay, so CoreWeave is the company that's been building most of the massive data centers, especially in the Virginia area. They have some interesting financing issues. Let's just stop there. They've raised, I think, like 18.8 billion at this point in time. RunPod's a 25 million Series A is what they did, but they don't own any of their infrastructure. They're leasing all of it, and there's a big problem in the hardware space. Yeah, that would take too much to go into at the moment, but we can definitely dive into it later if you'd like, about glut of NVIDIA GPUs and stuff. But yeah, that's an interesting company. If you have need to actually train a model, if you have enough data to train a model, it looks like they're probably a pretty good way to go. I'm nowhere near in that camp of people that would do it.
Right, neither am I. But Clifton sent it, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I figured I brought it up. And then the next tool is more like a developer tool to install in VS Code. Hassan, VS Code is pretty much a text editor on steroids that's built for the developers, and it has ways to extend its functionality. And this tool I'm showing you, if I'm on the right website, is a plugin to install in that tool to allow you to make agents. Have you heard of this one, David?
Nope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm just using VS Code because I like VS Code, and then I try to download Cursor because Cursor is the next big developer tool. But then I was like, this is the same thing, and it turns out that Cursor is just using the open source version of VS Code, and so you know how it works. So,
well, Cursor is actually built on top of ChatGPT and Claude.
Really?
And, yeah. So they're not actually their own model. They there's a term for what they do. Basically, they take your prompts and they filter them into what they want them to be, and then get responses and then just hash them back to you effectively.
Right.
But that's also why you'll get a different answer. Like if you ask the same question through Cursor or directly to ChatGPT, you'll get a different answer because they've actually filtered their actual prompt directly into ChatGPT or whichever one that they fed that particular, and they're not going to be transparent about which one they feed it, your particular prompt to either. Yeah.
Why is that?
Cursor's largely, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you though. I know that Cursor is largely fallen out of favor though. It's just
really,
it's just not great. Yeah. Especially as soon as you use Claude Code, you're just like, yeah, that's okay. I'll pass on that.
Just use Claude Code. Done deal. All right. Those are the tools I ran into for this week. If you guys don't have anything else, but I'm just working on building out some workflows. I'm starting with basic automation now. As I just kind of get my feet wet again in that space, and I'm starting with basic stuff. Like auto check my email for one. Auto analyze this spreadsheet, give me some insights, weekly. By the way, I did this last week, and I'll say ChatGPT won it. I asked them both to look me up a Mac Mini every day at 8 a.m. and they set a little task, and every morning for the last 6 days, actually 7 days, ChatGPT has been returning 8 a.m. Hey, this is what I found. So like using it for like shopping to find a discount or whatever. But Gemini quit after day 4, and I was like, hey, why did you quit? He's like, yeah, sometimes I can make mistakes and it never resets. So that's one thing. And I'm sure Claude can
i.e. one of the reasons why I don't like Gemini.
Yeah. So it's like, what? He just gave up. It didn't even give me no reason. It just stopped. It's like, yeah, I want to conserve. But what we were saying the last time, David, is like Google has big infrastructure, so that's lightweight. So it was just weird to me. So I was like, I'll just stick with ChatGPT task management. Have you used it at all?
The GPT task management?
Yeah.
No.
I also thought it was a really interesting topic what you guys talked about with the Anthropic CEO, how they're actually looking to do, like it's not just to win the race, right? It's actually to create meaningful and useful AI products and things of that sort. And I think just kind of looking at the different companies and based off of what we're seeing, are they in the race? Or are they actually trying to build things that people can actually use?
Yeah.
Well, what is the race? And so that's the whole topic of it.
We don't know. We don't know the race. We're just guessing, right? It's best AIG first. Who's just going to create the first sentient AI computer that could control?
Okay.
You?
All right. Well, just to seed this conversation for you, I will define partially what the race is about.
All right.
The amount of funding that these companies need, is astronomical. Like multiple orders of magnitude higher than the funding that was needed for the companies that were out in the .com. And we're only talking about a few companies here. That was hundreds. Okay. And that's even accounting for inflation. Also, the inflation doesn't even touch these numbers. So they have to start generating income at some point in time, because I mean, while there is a lot of money in the world, it is still not infinite. And this is not going to, there will not be enough funding to get these companies to where they're self-sustainable if they don't get there relatively quickly with the way that they're having to spend this money. So it's not just about user adoption on this one. With Yahoo and Google and Facebook and who was their big competitor way back, MySpace, it's not about the user adoption entirely, because the dollars there don't come anywhere close to equating to the dollars that these guys are having to spend. So who is it that they're getting to adopt their platforms, and how much are those people willing to spend with them to make it to where that they're actually breaking even? And Anthropic actually is on schedule to make it to where they're breaking even in 2028. So they're actually a good chunk of their costs are already being covered by their revenue today, whereas OpenAI cannot say the same.
Yeah, for good reason, right? Like they're building tools. Tools is making money. People can keep paying their $100 a month. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that ends this session. We out of time. I'll go ahead.